I talk with Patrick Frost to discuss exactly how his mentorship has gone over the last 6 months. Today, on episode 26 of Real Estate Photography Unlocked.
I'm just trying to get mine, but these agents got me losing my mind. Whatever happened to the good times? Man, forget about it. It's showtime. Let me show you how to get some rest, how to make millions, how to be your best. This is shout out to the REPs, to the shooters, producers, and the newbies. Welcome to our podcast. I'm your rep MC. We're here every week talking real estate photography.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 26 of Real Estate Photography Unlocked. Today, we have interviewing a returning guest, Patrick Frost. If you guys don't know him or haven't heard of him before, I've been doing a mentorship with him over the past 6 or 7 months, and we've been checking in periodically on the podcast to see how he's doing, and we've finished the mentorship, so now we're going to talk about what we can do going forward, how he's done, and everything else. And I apologize for any noise in the background. We got a lot of stuff going on today, chainsaws, kids, but the show must go on. So without further ado, welcome Patrick back to the podcast. Thank you.
How you doing?
Hey, good. Happy to have you. All right, what I would like to do today is just kind of do a review of all the things we've done since you first interacted with me. And by the way, the whole reason he got this free mentorship was because he commented under one of my YouTube videos. So if you guys feel like leaving a comment or a question, you never know, that will lead you. So and we've even done some stuff in person as well. But how you been, man?
Been good.
Good. I know that real estate photography is a grind, but happy to have you here. So let's take it back all the way to before you started working with me. What was your business situation? Were you doing really well? Were you struggling? What was it looking like?
It was pure struggle. Yeah, it was. It wasn't really going anywhere. I had a few jobs here and there, but it was by no means a business at that level. It was more like a drifting thought from time to time. Not to say I didn't want it to be a business. It wasn't there, and I wasn't doing the things to make it happen.
Okay, so, and there's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people are there. I've been there before. Heck, this year in North Carolina, the market has been extra tough. So
Yes,
we've seen one of the worst years we've seen in a while. But we're still doing well despite it. That being said, what were you not doing, or what was your average week looking like? Can we quantify this as much as possible?
Yeah. So what I wasn't doing was any type of meaningful marketing / networking. And in the industry of business, marketing is a 4-letter word that you have to speak every single day. Like it can never stop. So the only marketing I was doing was posting on Facebook, essentially, like just posting on different realtors posts, friending realtors, but not to really any, how do I say it? Not to any calculated or drawing a blank.
Yeah, that's fine. So essentially, you're just kind of doing things that felt right, but you weren't really paying attention to. You didn't have much of a strategy going forward.
Yes, no strategy, kind of blind, just throwing stuff at the wall.
So what kind of results were you getting? How many clients were you saying you're getting a month? New clients versus, and also how many shoots were you doing a month?
Maybe one client a month, like new client a month. And shoots maybe like 2 or 3 a month.
Okay. All right. So you had some room for improvement, to be sure. Okay. So then I guess you were just watching my YouTube videos and you decided to comment, had some questions, and I ended up reaching out to you because I looked at your situation. You had great photography, like really good photography. You're an incredible photographer. There's no reason why you couldn't absolutely kill it in real estate photography. And I saw that. Also, you have experience with a little bit of marketing. Exactly what was your job before this? You would run a lot of
case management and software customization layered on top of marketing management for law firms all across the country.
All right. Okay. So you have all the elements necessary to do really, really well in real estate photography and as your own business owner. So I offered you a free mentorship because I was sure that you're going to do like much better. Okay. So also I want to kind of show what can be done if you apply yourself and everything else. Anyway, so we started working together, and what was some of the first things I said that you had to do to improve? Like, this is what we're going to do to get your business going. And what month was this?
So we first talked in February, like the end of February. And then we first met sometime in the beginning of March, and it might have been the end of February, but it was from the initial texting out and then the emailing a few times back and forth until we finally locked down a date to get online and have a chat. It may have like a week or two have passed, but it was, very beginning of March into February. And the first things that kind of came from that was having a professional domain, getting a booking site set up immediately. Like that was paramount. That had to be number one right away. Have a website where people can look at what you do and book your services without talking to you, essentially. Like that had to be done exponentially quick. So that was the first focus. And then the second focus, which due to my perfectionist nature, I dragged my feet a bit on, was getting some type of cold email marketing going. And to me, I had to think through the entire process and perfect it before I put my pinky toe in the water. So,
email marketing was one part of everything. So, email marketing is what we ended up going with more consistently, but we started out experimenting with, how I call it, the land, sea, and air full-on assault. Like there's nothing we're leaving unturned. So I talked to you exactly how to do Facebook posts, how to find people on Facebook, how to post to Instagram, how to produce content on Instagram, how to do phone calls, how to, first of all, choose who you're going to call and exactly what to say when you call people. And then, of course, emails. And what we want to do that is do all of them with the same amount of time and resources, and then measure the results that you get, and then see based on which one is performing the best, do more of that. Essentially, and I'm sorry for jumping in there, but I just want to recap because it's been 6 months now, so 5 or 6 months at least. All right, so let's talk about once you did get everything going. And by the way, I understand that as photographers, we can all be perfectionists. One of the most important thing, and this is going for me, I had to conquer my perfectionism. I really believe in the saying, perfectionism is the killer of progress. There's no question there. And you've got to realize done is better than perfect. In fact, in our emails, you could possibly spend a long time designing what experts say is the perfect marketing email with all the best text and fonts and proper spacing. We have found that the best emails you guys do is actually plain text.
Yeah, it's kind of an anomaly, and I don't know that people would have the success that I've had.
No, I find it to be very consistent, actually.
I have consistently, especially, and I'm sure we'll get to this, but kind of like doing a quick fast forward here. After my initial era of stopping marketing because I had gotten really busy.
Well, hold on. Let's do wait. Okay. So first of all, when we got started with it, did you see success? Did you see results? What happened? Was it an abysmal failure? You went from 3 shoots a month to how quickly did you start getting more shoots? How many shoots did you get? And what was your best month under the mentorship so far?
So after, and I think I actually made a post on this on a Facebook group that me and you are both a part of.
Yeah.
After about 5 weeks of once I had all systems in place and kind of running, I picked up 40 new clients.
40. Okay. All right. In 5 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It went from a fart in the wind really, really quickly.
Right. And by the way, guys, this is also in, Raleigh, North Carolina, if you don't mind me saying that. And it's what a lot of people would say is a saturated market. One of
Yeah.
the things you talked about me earlier in the process was that, man, Jonathan, I just feel like there's so much good competition out there. And you sent me a few links and I checked out the competition. I'm like, bro, you're going to kill these guys for sure. And it's just so funny when I look at in a market versus when a new photographer in the industry, at least, looks at a market. They have a lot of concerns, and I just see a bunch of shortcomings and weaknesses that you can definitely overcome. So 40 new clients in the first 5 weeks. I didn't know it was that much. That's really good. And what did your revenue go from? Your revenue went from A to B. What was it looking like?
So the first month, so let's say February and March. I think as I was putting those systems in place, obviously February was pretty much nothing. March was where we were building up those systems and meeting and make sure like I'm getting things done. Once we were in effect, January, March, April was probably the first decent month. March, I think I went from making nothing to about $3,500 that month.
Which is essentially life.
Yeah,
you can breathe again. Yeah,
right.
right.
And then April, I think I got up to like 5,500 or so. Like it was still growing, and it was going from a few jobs a week to 5 jobs a week to like 8 jobs a week to 10 jobs a week.
How many free shoots were you doing?
0. I did nothing for free the entire time.
I thought you can't get business unless you do stuff for free.
Yeah, that's not
okay.
No.
Right.
If there's something that I've learned or have always known, but it was a hard reminder, is that you have to value yourself and the service that you're providing. Because if you don't, it's almost like a blood and water to shark. They will run right over you and ask you for discounts. They'll ask, well, if you do it for me, I'll promote you to the rest of my office. And it's just like,
right. So you did all of this without doing free shoots. It happened very quickly. And what would you see your peak month was?
That was undoubtedly May.
Okay.
May, I cleared 12 to 13 grand, I think.
Wow.
It was the first month where I wasn't sure how I was going to keep up with the amount of bookings that I was having. But that also was just being tempered into the forge, right? Like that same month is kind of what I've had this month. Like this month got really, really busy again. But it's once you're used to it and know where to pick up the pace, like where you can save time in a job and whatnot, you find you can do a lot more than you think you can.
Okay, good. All right, so having the correct marketing scheme is really important, and being strategic about it. You guys can look through my YouTube videos because I talk all about it, but I'll review it quickly here. And that is when I talk about land, sea, and air, what I mean is you're trying out all the processes. Some people will swear by, it's got to be cold calling. It's got to be Instagram. I talk about emails a lot. What I have found is that with every mentor I've ever done, with every person I've ever helped, with every business I've ever done, and I've done a lot of business in other industries as well, vacation rentals, photography education, of course, and I've also helped some local businesses just marketing their stuff, dentist office, that sort of thing. You do want to try them all out because you never know what's going to work in your market. But in every single industry, and you'll also notice a lot of the main players, let's say on YouTube, whether it be Gary Vaynerchuk or Alex Hormozy or something else, you'll notice all of them have a very strong, consistent, evolved email marketing engine that they use to work with. And while a lot of people will say, oh, email marketing doesn't work with real estate agents, you have to ask, have they tried it?
Right.
Have they even done email marketing, or have they have done a few emails with horrible subject lines, no call to actions, stupid content in the email, and they're shocked that it didn't work, right? So what I have found with every land, sea, and air attack I have done, every time, without exception, email marketing has come up on top, especially when you compare it to the amount of time and effort
Right.
attempted for the social marketing. For example, I showed you how to do Instagram. We talked about how to do Facebook. We also did cold calling. Cold calling, Facebook, Instagram is all pretty rough, and it's difficult to stay consistent with it. So you weren't exactly consistent with all of them. Let's say, for example, first of all, you don't love all of them. Nobody does. Everyone has their favorite thing. I don't love doing cold calls. Sorry?
Cold calling is by far the worst. Like it's the worst.
But what I have found is email marketing you can do for the whole month in about an hour or two if you're really focused and disciplined and you don't let your perfectionism get a hold of you. And you're reaching out to 4,000 or 5,000 people with every single email. After that, you've got to do highly inefficient outreach, whether it's going to be Instagram, Facebook, or cold calling. I have found the second place goes to whatever you're most comfortable with or most familiar with, whatever you enjoy the most. So what was the second place for you, would you say?
Measurable success?
Yeah.
I feel like second place for me was in-person networking.
Okay.
I had made it a point to any type of like vendor mix and mingles, real estate association, business expos, anything that's kind of a broad stroke of the real estate vendor market, I was signing up for as a vendor.
Okay.
Whether that was hosted by actual brokerages, just trying to get vendors in the door so agents can build their contact list or whatever, I was going in there with full spread of everything. So I had all my equipment, cards, flyers, table, like all my cameras, all my equipment. And although you don't initially get, or at least I didn't, anything from those, down the line, something always set back. So, like, oh, I got your card at the Premier wine mixer or, whatever. Like, oh, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I remember talking to you. So I'm told, I don't believe it, but I'm told I'm a charismatic person. And I guess that makes me memorable when I'm at networks.
Yeah, dude, you got a great personality. And we've actually met in person now because we'll get to that too, but we had him come out here and do a day of video with me. But yeah, dude, you're super tall. If you ever looked at the world leaders, the height is a telltale. Like, you cannot become a world leader if you're bald and short. It's really rare. Sorry. So if you're tall and you've got hair and you've got even a thick beard to go along with it. Another thing you did too was you found another real estate agent that enjoyed motorcycles like you did, and you wanted a few rides with him. Just doing that kind of thing where you actually truly relate with somebody, because you can't fake enjoying motorcycles. Like if someone tries to if someone tries to ride a motorcycle and pretend that they know what they're doing, it's going to be embarrassing. So anyway, so you had success, you got out there. What worked for you was in person, and I think that's awesome. A lot of people, for example, if you guys were just a teenager and you're always on Instagram and you understand the platform super natively, then you're going to do better on Instagram. If you're a little bit of an old school person like me, and we were teenagers before Instagram existed, Facebook might be your thing, right? But hey, some of you guys are going to have a ton of sales experience where you were required to make 100 phone calls a day, and getting on the phone and making cold calls is going to be no problem for you, and you're going to kill it on the phone. It just depends. First place is absolute email marketing. You've got to learn how to do it right. I can teach you how to do that. Just reach out to me. I'm also offering mentorship now for all that. But apart from email marketing, you've got to find out what is your strength and just play to that. Now, you exploded. You're making over $10,000 in like 3 months.
Yeah.
And then you started having efficiency issues. So that was the next challenge we started talking about. Talk about how your old camera was slowing you down on shoots.
Yeah, so Nikon D850 was my DSLR of choice, and that is an amazing camera. Like, nobody can argue with the D850. Like, it's just a stellar camera. It's just not fast. So older DSLR Nikons, they impose a hard limitation to bracketed photos. And regardless of your shutter speed, anything else, if you want it to go through all 5 or all 3 photos on its own just from one click, it imposes this delay. So there was a 2-second delay before every photo. And it
every bracket, you mean?
Every bracket set up.
Yeah.
So even not counting in the shutter delay. And, if you're not pushing high ISO so that your shutter speed is slow and you're on the last like plus 1.5 or 1.7 or 2 overexposure bracket, it's like a 15-second delay.
Right.
So, you take 250 bracketed photos, 300 bracketed photos for a bigger house. That ends up causing quite a bit of slow.
Yeah.
Sitting
It's
there
at least 10 or 15 minutes just in exposure time for sure. And those 10 or 15 minutes, when you're doing 3 or 4 shoots a day, that's an entire hour, which means that's an entire shoot that you're not getting to. So you switched cameras. That was one thing you did. Also, we looked at your quality check process to see how much you were editing. We tried different editors, of course. We tried some AI. I'm not actually sure which process you ended up going with, but we sped up your process. What is your workflow look right now? You go out and shoot, and you have videos and photos. You are also editing all your photos yourself, I believe, at the beginning, correct? All right, so we got you with an outsourcer, and then experimented with different outsourcers. Who are you with right now? Not necessarily your exact outsourcer, but are you using AI or a human outsourcer?
So I had attempted auto HDR, and those are just, when they first hit the market, it was not good, and it was way more expensive than it should be. No realtor expects their photos back in 10 minutes to warrant it, the pricing of auto HDR. So after that, I went through quite a few different people that I had reached out to or had reached out to me, and none of them really had the quality that I wanted. Even kind of telling them to fix certain things, it wasn't there. So I'm now at a point where I also tried Fotello, and Fotello is really good. The biggest issue with Fotello is that if it doesn't get it right and you have to ask them to fix it, I was waiting almost a full extra day before I would get those fixes back. And it's just like, and I had a talk with the owner of the company. I was like, that's your biggest stumbling block. Like, you need to have live people to manage fixes when your software doesn't get it right. But my current guy is a guy that I have been grooming and training for essentially the last like 3 or 4 months.
Okay.
And he has nailed editing. Like, it's,
and your photography, I will say, is exceptional. You have really, really good photography, second to none. And while I know a lot of people will emphasize certain things, like I will say trendy video right now is important to have in your business, but at the end of the day, the number one thing that sells the house is definitely, without a doubt, no question, the photos.
I have had numerous feedback from realtors that I've worked with. They've used me for the first time as like they're giving me a shot, and their house will sell the same day it hits the market and for over asking price. And they're like, that doesn't happen, so I'm going to attribute some of that to your photos. I'm like, I'll take it.
Yeah, it happens here too. I had just a quick story. I had a real estate agent hire me to market like a $3.5 million property, and they hired me for the regular photos, but then they kind of went with a family friend or something with everything else, like drones, twilight, everything else. um, well, they had the house on the market for 6 months, didn't sell, so they switched to a different real estate agent. And when they decided to use someone else for the other photos, I was like, listen, this is a $3.5 million property. I can do twilight and everything else much better than I'm sure your friend can. And
Right.
and I was right. The twilights they posted were horrific. And anyway, they lost the listing. Then another real estate agent, um, who also works with me, got the listing, hired me to do the photography again. He did everything I recommended. We did high quality video. I got him on camera for the video. We did incredible twilight photos, especially for this home because it had just an absolutely gorgeous landscape lighting setup. We're talking a pool in the background with a lit pool, and then just an absolute theater of a backyard. And we did a twilight image for that, and we posted it in a local magazine as a 2-page spread. And the person who bought the house specifically mentioned they were looking in that magazine, they saw the 2-page spread, and they said, I've got to have it.
That's
so
cool.
They moved from their other house that they already have, which is a multi-million-dollar house, to this multi-million-dollar house. In that photo, I'm not going to say it's 100% of the reason, it played a large role. So when someone kind of cheaps out on photography, just imagine how much that cost them. They saved $200. No. It costs you about $100,000 in commission. So when you hire an amateur and you think that's expensive, when you think a professional's expensive, just wait till you hire an amateur and see how much that costs you.
Yep.
Anyway, so sorry to go on that was a real story. I'm not just making that up. So I'm just absolutely agreeing with you. Photos, man, will sell homes, especially in this market. I'm not sure how the rest of the country is necessarily doing right now, but here in North Carolina, we're seeing price drops everywhere. $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 price drops regularly. Houses are staying on the market from what used to be a week, maybe, to easily 2 to 3 months, no question. And the market has really slowed to a halt, which, frankly, I'm thankful for. I'm very happy to just slow things down. The improvement I'm making on my businesses and the marketing advantages I'm making are incredible. Check it out. It's going to be released in Real Estate Photography Masterclass version 2. But and I need to show you some of this stuff too, because since I've taught you, I've got some brand new tricks up my sleeve. But man, I'm so sorry. I'm just a purebred photographer at the end of the day, and I agree with amazing photography. All right, so you do exceptional photography. That helps you definitely get yourself in the door. If you guys want to try checking some of his stuff out, what's your Instagram? Do you post there regularly?
I don't post much to my Instagram, unfortunately. Okay. I think I know I should, but yeah, it's like the black sheep that I hate. I really don't have any type of love for Instagram.
The best thing I can teach you there is, it's sometimes just some vegetables you got to eat, some vitamins you got to swallow. I would try to put one day or like one morning every few weeks where you just schedule at least one post a day, even if it's just your work. But ideally, you want to mix in some variety as well. So post in some photos, post in even if it's just a text post where you're saying, hey guys, don't forget that like I was saying earlier, if you think a professional is expensive, just wait till you hire an amateur. Share a story. Or it's kind of nice when you take photos and the home is under contract in under 24 hours.
Right.
Just sharing a text box like that is really important, but also trying to be a little bit personal where you're showing your face, sharing some stories, some funny things that you're seeing at a listing. That is really good to have on your Instagram. That being said, okay, so let's move on. You were having a ton of business. You're a little bit overwhelmed with how much you were getting. So you did something that was not so good. And what was that?
Stop marketing.
You stopped marketing.
Yeah. I was confident that, the amount of realtors that I was pulling in, how quickly they were coming in, and the feedback that I was getting, that word of mouth would carry me, which it will, but it can't be 100% of your marketing. Like it's just not. So yeah, I had stopped marketing. At the same time, the unexpected shift of the market itself started happening. So it was like almost a compounding effect. Out of nowhere, this pendulum pegging one side market of a seller's market just dropped like a rock and became like a balanced market. And now they're even saying we're kind of in a buyer's market. So in addition to a massive market shift that happened in literally like 4 weeks, nobody saw it.
Yeah.
I also wasn't marketing. And so I went from May being my best month to June being my worst month easily.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man. All right. So lessons here, a few things that I want to just emphasize. Once upon a time, and you'll still see this advice shared around in a lot of Facebook groups from people who've been in the industry a long time who don't understand what it's like to get into the market right now. It used to be that you could just kind of start doing work and do good work, and word of mouth was all you need. A lot of people who have been in this industry for 8-10 years just kind of haphazardly fell into the industry and suddenly found themselves with a 6-figure or multi-6-figure business. That is not how it works anymore. You do have to have a strategic plan that you're intentionally going after, and you've got to be very borderline obsessive with it, but definitely consistent with it. And I did see that you're overwhelmed and kind of said, you know what, if you want to start marketing, you can. It's risky, but we'll see what happens. So you had a not so great month, and then you started doing marketing again.
Yep.
And was it effective? Did it help out? What were the differences this second time around?
Second time around, it seemed to double down. So I'm not going to say it like picked right back up, but I started marketing again maybe the first week in July. And the first half of July was still slow, but I recovered it the second half of July. Second half of July was super busy. All of August has been super busy. So I essentially, from the beginning of July, maybe the first week of July to now, so we'll call it 6 weeks-ish, somewhere around there. In that 6-week time frame, I've pulled in another probably 35, 40 clients.
Okay. Wow.
From the majority cold.
A lot of people accuse you of lying.
Yeah, I know.
So can you try to just convince people that this is the truth? And because a lot of people will struggle, man. And I would also like you to talk specifically about some things you're doing that you think are the key, just to share with people, because a lot of people, I think, don't get it, that there are specific things you have to understand and do that are tricks in the industry that just work.
Yeah, so my cold emailing approach, which is what a lot of people who are not cold marketers, by like that's what they do solely for their business, is like cold emailing campaigns for other businesses. A lot of people who don't cold email as a form of business think that you have to do certain things certain ways. Some people say images, some people say don't. Other people say, do an HTML email because it attracts attention, it grabs their attention. I went the approach of full plain text, no links, no nothing. And I spelt out in about as plain English as I could that I was somebody who was truly local to the area. So I'm like, this is where I live. I'm saying, like Raleigh Triangle real estate or whatever, like pricing or something to where it points to where they're at as realtors. Let me step back for a second. I first had to get a list, and that process list. And I got that list. I groomed it. I broke it up into 3 separate lists: my top 10%, the 40 to 50%, and then the bottom 50%. And my top 10% has solely been actual individual email outreach and calling. Like that's me being a person, not in mass.
And I highly recommend you guys do this. This is all stuff we've talked about, and essentially, you want to get your FBI most wanted list, and you're going after them like they've got a nuclear threat to your country. Like you're going after this list. You know everything about them. You actually do research about them, so you know that if Jessica is the top in your real estate agent, you follow her on whatever socials, and you find out, okay, she really likes Chanel, or she enjoys having a day off and just having like a spa day. So one of the things you might want to do is, if that client is valuable, get her a coupon to her favorite spa and say, hey, this is on us. I know that life is hard and clients can be difficult. So take it easy. If you want another way to make your life easier, try hiring us, Patrick Frost. Right. So just stuff like that is super creative. Now, obviously, you just did cold email, but personal. So what do those personal emails look like?
So in email marketing, there's different terms for it depending on the software, but like a macro, a merge field, an identification point, something to where in the email you're pulling pertinent data about them into the email, as well as info about yourself. You're not just a business, you are a person. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of people, a lot of businesses, a lot of realtors are working alone, like they're under a firm or a brokerage, but they're doing this because they want to have their business in their hands and control it, make money for themselves. And they want to work with somebody who they can actually reach out to and talk to and get input as a professional of the industry. I will honestly say 90% of the realtors I speak with say that they switched to me because they could talk to me. Being available, which is hard to do, but if it was easy, not everybody would do it. Or right. You get what I'm trying to say, yeah.
Yeah, and this also goes back to the holy trinity, I say, of real estate photography: being available, communication, and turnaround time. Yep. So once again, that availability coming up. I'm telling you guys, I've done this once or twice. I've seen some patterns that work. Okay, all right. So keep talking here.
So when I got my list, I pulled in essentially any information I can find about those people, not just, their name, email, phone number, and firm. I pulled in like how many listings they've sold. So this is MLS data. How many listings they've sold this year, their most recent listing that they've sold. I had a few of their listings as merge filled. So in the email, I could pull in like, oh, hey, I saw your listing at this address. So it looked like I wasn't just sending out cold emails en masse to a bunch of realtors. It looked like I had specifically looked at them, got data on them, and was reaching out because I was interested in them as realtors. And realtors love feeling important. So if you can make them feel important, like they're your best customer, that's your in. At least that's mine.
And frankly, that's not something I've been doing as of late because I've been so focused on everything else. And yeah, I will say that has lost me a few clients when people, I'll follow up with people like, hey, you haven't ordered in a while. What's going on? It's like, yeah, Jonathan, you used to be so close with me, but I just seem like you've been distant lately. And I have been. So yeah, that's definitely a key factor. And it's so interesting that different people can start their own business and run into the exact same conclusions, just like we did with Daryl Stringer. But anyway, keep going, man. You're talking gold here.
Right. So in the cold emailing, along with being apparent that I was interested in them as people and not them as a realtor, and that's their name, realtor. Like we can't, at least my approach. Some people might be trying to start a business where they rather have 100 pennies than 4 quarters. I'd much rather have 4 quarters than 100 pennies. My approach to this business is quality over quantity. So if I can work with 100 agents that are high producing, high quality agents, and they want to put money into quality because they know that they get it back in return. That's my ideal client.
And your instincts are very correct there, man. I can tell you what, having real estate agents that actually have the home prepared and share with you the correct information to make sure the order form's correct, for example, is really important.
Yeah.
So good on you, and they're going to be a little bit more loyal than
Right.
agents. So all right.
So in addition to that, I also text out. I use a software that uses my personal phone number, and like just being on a Mac is nice. It's a switch that I made was a hard switch, but I've gotten used to it, and it has a lot of tools that Android and Windows, because it's two separate operating systems, they don't speak to each other. When you're on a Mac phone and you have a Mac computer, I can do a lot of things that most people can't, and that's sending broadcasted texts from my phone to all the contacts in my phone that I've tagged a certain way in their contact record. So in my contact book in my phone, all of the realtors I work with and all the realtors that I want to work with have different tags in their notes section.
Very nice.
So I masked.
By the way, this is not something I taught you. You're doing your own tricks.
So
yeah.
So like I will mass text my realtor list, and it looks like I'm sending off a one-off email to clients of mine, just like, hey, thinking about you. How'd your son do at his baseball tournament or whatever else? Like I have notes. And those texts go out en masse at random times. So it looks like I'm going as just texting a realtor that I'm trying to promote my relationship with, which there's a difference between faking it and being truly in it for their success. And that's not something I fake. Like I want my realtors to be as successful as they can be, because if they start having sudden success under my umbrella, they're going to attribute that success to the working relationship that we have, and they will recommend me more. So I really go out of my way to make sure I'm doing everything I can for all of my clients. But yeah, communication is key, and you drove that home, and maybe I took that a little bit.
Man, I mean, that's one of the most, no, you didn't. In fact, that's one of the most important elements to success. I'll tell you what, dude, you're not my only mentee, of course. And I have found that one of the most critical elements to success is actually taking it seriously and going after it hard. A lot of people just are so casual about the success of their business, and they want to be a success, but they do not want to do the work. And you can tell. And all the questions they ask me, you can tell they're looking for shortcuts.
Yeah.
And when I give you, hey man, listen, if you want to be a success, it's not going to be fun, but you got to do this. You hit that, and you hit it hard, and you hit it hard every day. Yeah. And that's why you have the level of success you're having. Also, the quality of your photography is a consequence of your devotion and hard work to the task.
Yeah.
So, man, if you guys don't have that, work on it. Use Patrick as an example. He's got that can-do attitude and the must-do attitude, and you guys got to have that. If you're going to be casual about your success, and more importantly, your future, and in many cases, your and your family's future, and you're still casual about it, there's no amount of mentorship that's going to help you.
Yeah, you've got to want it for reasons more than yourself. You got to have a bigger why, and not everybody are in a position to have that or need it. So maybe that's the line in the sand. But yeah, you have to find your why, and that's got to be a big enough of a pull to push you past your comfort levels and just go beyond them and make it happen. Because it like Jonathan just said, it is absolutely you have to work for it. It is not going to fall in your lap, because it did not fall in mine. Granted, like I said earlier, I feel like I've had an anomaly of success from my cold emailing.
It's not.
I'm still getting responses from emails that I sent months ago. Like I'm still getting, this week and last week alone, I have gotten more cold email responses than I've ever had.
Mhm.
And some of them, I'm looking at from the email that they're replying to. It's a cold email that I sent on my last marketing attempt.
Yeah, that's not unusual, and it's very common. In fact, I still get responses to emails I sent years ago, and you're
Yeah.
like, "No way, Jonathan." Well, this is what happens. Okay, so first of all, a real estate agent may get your email and think immediately, next time I get a listing, I'm going to use that photographer.
Mhm.
The problem is they don't have a listing because they're new or something else. So the first time they actually get a listing is 3-6 months later. Or this happens. What real estate agents do, because a lot of them, are relics from like AOL, they they will forward their email because they thought it was useful to other real estate agents, and it'll just keep happening again and again and again. And so you also may think the open rates we aim for are anywhere between 20 or 30%. I think your ones are a little bit higher. And then you're looking for about 1% click rates. Oh, wait, you don't even track your results. You just send them.
No, so like if you get
Yeah.
into the really deep weeds of email marketing, any type of tracking put into an email gets picked up by Gmail's scanning algorithms to
Yeah.
flag it as potential marketing or spam. So there is no tracking whatsoever. The only metric I measure is a response.
Okay.
So my response rate, um, what is it? I'm gonna pull it up real quick. I apologize.
Yeah, no worries. While he's pulling that up, all I was going to say was, yeah, the emails go a lot further and make a lot more rounds than you think. And also, if you are paying attention to your statistics, a lot of times the statistics are much lower than they actually are, purely because these emails are forwarded and saved and redistributed so much. So not only, by the way, do real estate agents not mind receiving emails, they appreciate it so much they're actually forwarding it to other people. But yeah, what's your response rate?
So on the first big cold emailing thing I did, the response rate was 6%.
Wow.
Yeah. And then on this second one, the response rate is 8%, and a 1% bounce rate. So
And let me just compare this, guys. Let me just compare this to other methods that are taught out there, and you may pay $10,000 or $15,000 for people to teach you these state of the art methods. Um, if you were to take 1,000 people, 1,000 real estate agents, and you're going to cold message them on, let's say, Instagram, or let's say you're going to make a post on Instagram, do you think you would get 6% of the people who see that post to actually open up their DMs and reach out to you? Absolutely not. It's not going to happen. Now
yeah.
let's take a DM approach where we're specifically looking at people on Instagram and we're reaching out to them at random because there's no qualification for the type of quality lead they are. You don't know how many, for example, listings they have. The qualifier is just, let's say, hashtag Raleigh real estate, or, something like that, and reach out to them, 1,000 different people like that. First of all, Instagram is going to block your account or suspend your account a few times while you're in the process of doing that, because they're going to see that you're probably spamming people, which you are. Number two, you're going to have a lot of people who just don't respond to you. Your response rate is not going to be anywhere close to 6%. And then also think about how much time or resources is going to cost you to get those 1,000 DMs out. All right. So let's say you're doing those one at a time by yourself. Even if you're copying and pasting it, you're sending one out every 30 seconds, maybe a minute. It's going to take you a long time to do that. Or you're hiring a virtual assistant to do it for you. And in that case, it's costing you money. So in this case, you're incredibly efficient. The results are super high, and you're not paying $10,000 to learn how to do it. So also, by the way, if you want to learn how to do an Instagram method of any kind, you can learn it from someone like Gary Vaynerchuk for free. He's been teaching that. Guys, DMing people on Instagram is just the Instagram tactic that's been around since day one of Instagram. It's no industry secret. So I'm sorry to go on a path there, but I'm just trying to help save people money and not get screwed. So
you have to look at it too, like if we're individuals marketing to individuals as businesses, how many other services can they potentially have in this industry that they're also getting marketed for?
Yeah.
And people always go for the low-hanging fruit, which is DMing, because they're already on social media scrolling, or they think that social media is the marketing platform right now. And so you're just going to get buried under the weeds of everybody else who's doing the same exact thing.
Yeah, exactly. All right, man. I'm really impressed by your success. I will also say too, something I wanted to say earlier in regards to getting after it and being perseverant. It hasn't been an easy road here. You had to lay down your bike on the way to a shoot. You're driving your motorcycle. No, actually, you weren't on the way to a shoot on your motorcycle. You just
I was just on my bike. Yeah,
Right.
We had numerous errors that my truck's engine seized.
Right.
That was the first thing, and we got that fixed.
And you had to buy a new car. You got yourself a little bit more fuel efficient Cadillac. Yep. Very nice.
Yeah, I was riding my bike a lot at first. And when you're doing, 300 miles a day on a motorcycle in the triangles traffic, like you're exponentially increasing your odds of something catastrophic.
Yeah, becoming a squid on the side of the road. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we definitely ran into numerous setbacks during this whole process.
But you persevered anyway. And this is something I see a lot when I'm helping people out is like, oh, Jonathan, I would have, but, and then they fill in with something personal. Like, let's just put this in perspective. In the last 10, everyone is always a victim of nature. Okay. So every morning, everything that happens is happening to everybody. Everybody gets flat tires. Everybody gets their credit card stolen. Everybody has car accidents. This happens to everybody. So a lot of people who fail at a business will say, well, I guess it must be nice to be you and they'll fill in that with, oh, well, I guess your parents helped you out. Or I guess you're just so naturally talented, unlike me. Guys, it's just excuses. And at the end of the day, everybody has to face the same challenges, hardship. Hopefully, definitely other people manage risk better than others. Some people just go out there not wearing seatbelts, texting on their phone while putting their makeup on and expect nothing bad to happen and are shocked when it does. That's no way to live life.
Right.
But so you've got to manage your risk, but you also, when it inevitably happens, and it will, no matter what, you've got to persevere through it. Just to use a personal example, I've been releasing Real Estate Media Hero. I've been doing this podcast. I've been upticking my YouTube. I've been focusing on Real Estate Photography Masterclass and making tutorials for that. And then continuing to do my business and scale all that while I have 2 kids under 2 years old. Oftentimes I'm up in the middle of the night or waking up unexpectedly to handle a kid with a fever or a blowout or something else. Folks, everybody is dealing with struggles. You have to recognize that when you start your business, you are going to succeed regardless of what happens. That is a decision you make. Mm-hmm. So come what may, you continue and you persevere through those struggles. You have to factor in, yes, I'm going to get done what I need to get done, and I'm going to deliver those images on time, even if my car breaks down in the middle of my day. You have to figure out something. You call an Uber, and you have that Uber drive you around all day if you've got to make it happen. Yep. But it's just a matter of attitude. Attitude, man, really matters. And I think that's another thing too. When people see you in person, real estate agents know that attitude matters. And you have a really good attitude, man. Like, well, anyway, I'm sorry I haven't been preaching. I hope I haven't been preaching too much. Honestly, one of the best things about mentoring people, folks, is being inspired by your guys' progress. It's wonderful as being much as an old dog as I am, I guess, in the industry right now. seeing other people enter the industry and seeing how fresh and excited and hungry you are keeps me motivated. So Patrick, way to go, man. I'm really excited for you. I would love to meet up with you again because I know that when we did some video education together, I was trying to make a YouTube with it. I felt like I was too distracted by the YouTube. So I would love to meet you again. We recognize some things like your footwork could use some work, but the only element missing in your business before you were just number one in Raleigh is like peak video. If you could get your video as good as your photography, and your photography is exceptional, you will be unstoppable. And soon enough, you're going to be my competitor here in the Triad. There's no question. I highly recommend.
I have the respect about me, so that's one thing. Like I am loyal to a fault. Like,
hey, dude, you can open up a branch here in the area. There's no problem. There's plenty of work for everyone. Charlotte has a lot more opportunity than the Triad is. We're a much smaller market than even your area. So, anyway, dude, anything else you want to say? You and I are going to stay in contact for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just really happy that you have had success. It's not surprising. I have found that if you, let's just say, get real estate photography masterclass and you don't do mentorship, you just apply yourself, then you're going to succeed. There's no question. If you do mentorship with me and you show up to every meeting, and a lot of people don't even do that, guys, a lot of people don't even show up to their mentorship. If you show up and you apply what you learn, it's inevitable that you're going to succeed, even though the market is a bit saturated. A lot of people will tell you that, oh, the market's not saturated. It kind of is, especially with the downturn of the market. But as long as you shoot to be in the top, I would say 5% of real estate photographers, and that's not necessarily in quality, that's in marketing, consistency, communication availability, turnaround time, then you're going to succeed. There's no question. And there's plenty of people who, while you may say, oh, the market is saturated, a lot of those people who are in the market are a little bit obsolete. They're a little bit outdated. They're definitely burned out. They're overbooked, and they just don't care anymore. So there's plenty of room for young, fresh, responsible, talented, and driven young individuals, or old for that matter, who want to show the young folk how to be consistent, because that's a strength I see in older people. They're wildly consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 40 this year, so it's you don't have to be young. You just have to want.
Yeah, I easily could have thought you were in your 20s, like your late 20s. You're looking good, man. I don't know, like seriously, you keep it healthy. But yeah, guys, the point is, success is so possible. Just put yourself out there and be very consistent and strategic about it, and don't give up. And if you need, reach out to me. I'll help you out, and I'm not going to charge you an arm and a leg for it.
If I had to reiterate what you just said and summarize it, would be like, you can't make excuses. Like if in your head you tell yourself, oh, I don't want to do that, that's what you should be doing. Like, do the things you don't want to do and want it. Like, it's not going to fall in your lap. Be honest with yourself. And if you think you're doing enough and it's still not happening, there's a 1% chance that that's the case. Like, you could be doing a lot more. And like John said, even if there's a bunch of other companies and it's saturated, like it literally doesn't matter at all. There is no level of saturation to the point where you can't have success if that industry is successful in itself. Yeah. You just got to do better. People will use you. You just have to do better.
And a lot of people will say that's not true. How is that even possible theoretically? And I will tell you how it's possible. Because there's more work to be done than there are people that are willing to do it. Full stop. Especially when we're talking about something active like this, where you have to go out, you have to wake up early, you have to have an actual set of skills, and you have to apply yourself every day. That's people don't last a long time doing that, especially even if they have the talent, they have systems that are inefficient and they get themselves burned out. By the way, don't get burned out. If you ever need any help, I'll make sure you get a sustainable model, but I think you're going to be all right, man. All right. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. If you need a good online software to make sure you're taking orders with and scheduling everything automatically, check out realestatemediahero.com. And if you guys need help, of course, Real Estate Photography Masterclass is always there. And if you guys have any questions, make sure to comment down below, because you never know where it might take you, just like where it took Patrick. So thank you, guys. And I'll see you, Patrick. I'm sure you'll be very soon.